Hello everybody, SlimKirby here. Welcome back to more of the Stunt Race FX playthrough. This weekend we're going to be finishing up the Speed Trax mode, and then tomorrow we'll be taking a look at Stunt Trax. So let's go ahead and get things started here with Speed Trax. As far as the vehicle we're going to be using the 2WD, the two-wheel drive, I guess. Or whatever it stands for, I have no idea. This is the unlockable car in this game. You do not unlock this until you actually beat the Master Class, and it's pretty good. It has a medium body, it has really fast acceleration, and it has a max speed of 140, so it's pretty good. It's one of those cars where if you can optimize its strengths very well, you can basically be an undefeated racer in this game. However, with that being said, though, not to say it has no flaws, because obviously, with fast acceleration and a lot of speed, with the physics in this game, you can go all over the place if you're not careful. So, be very careful with this vehicle. But I am going to use it, so let's do it, guys. Let's take on the Master Class. We have 4 tracks again. We have Lakeside, Big Ravine, Sky Ramp, and Harbor City. And we're going to start with Lakeside. Lakeside can be pretty scary. It actually does have a section where I think you can fall off. It's not like those yellow ramps in some of the other courses. And it's also just, like, you don't get a lot of time for this one either. Like, only 40 seconds. That's definitely not... That's not a lot of time, basically, is what I'm trying to get at there. But yeah, like, this vehicle is very, very fast, as you can see. Doing pretty good so far, I think. You may notice, like, over time, sometimes, like, I'll kind of wobble back and forth. I think that's just, again, of the effect of this particular vehicle. Because it's so fast, because it has really high acceleration, it's just, you know, it's kind of hard to control sometimes if you let it get too fast. But, at the same time, though, that speed can be a huge advantage, because... yeah, obviously it's a race. You want to frickin' win, and oh my god. Well, the coupe kind of helped me there. He kind of pushed me back in the facing the right direction. I also find that with this vehicle, if you like hit a wall, you actually kind of get stuck on the wall for a bit. Not something I really noticed with other vehicles in this game. It just seems to be a common theme of this one. Which again might just be the physics of this game matched with the fact that this is a very kind of high skill ceiling vehicle. It is fun though. Oh, come on. Get off the wall! Oh, I get a feeling I'm not going to have a lot of time after this track. Not to mention, I'm not even in, I'm in last place, so I need to actually get ahead of some of these other fools. At least Mr. Truck here, anyway. It's interesting that the F-Type's, like, already finished. He's already finished it. Crap. No, you're not! Okay, whatever, I'll take third. That could have been, like, really, really close, so... Had to capitalize on that one little opening there. So yeah, there we go. Unfortunately, not my best time, but that's okay, it happens. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so if you couldn't tell from my lack of enthusiasm, I'm not a big fan of this track. Big Ravine can honestly be, I think, one of the toughest tracks in the game. And, yeah, it can be brutal. That's all I can really say about it. I'm not really even sure why this track is so much more brutal than the other tracks. I want to say it's kind of like Whiteland to an extent, where it kind of gains some, like, traction issues. Because as we'll see in a minute, it'll start raining. And I almost wonder if that's the reason why this track can be so difficult. Because I don't know what it is. Like, I swear, it's so easy to get turned around in this track. And honestly, if you get turned around, it's almost like not even worth like continuing the run. Because if you get turned around, you almost have to like spend like 10 seconds getting turned around the right way, because the track is so narrow that you can't really fix yourself that well. It's just really hard, and it's not good. I really don't like this track, and I'm racing on this track, but you know, I'll do what I can. Hopefully I get a good attempt and a good run here. Much like Whiteland, my one recommendation, I guess, is just to kind of take every turn kind of slow. Because, yeah, like, that happens, and if that happens, like, you're almost screwed, almost. Because even if you're, like, stuck for just a second, like, your other opponents will take advantage of that easily. So yeah, just don't take turns too sharply on this one. Otherwise, you're pretty much asking to lose. And losing on this one is not fun because it's such a long track. Anyway, I don't know what it is, much like some of the other tracks, like, or, I don't know, especially with this vehicle, it's so easy to get, like, magnetized to the wall, it seems like. No! Come on. Also, this track has rock slides, too, so that's also fun. It's not actually fun, but it does have rock slides. Okay. Final lap. Let's see if we can catch up. Remember, we only have to get third place, so as long as I get ahead of the coupe right here, I should be okay. No, come on. You got this. Maybe another rock slide, that's okay. Okay, I should be fine. Oh my god. So glad that one's over. I feel like I didn't really get a lot of time for that, but I mean, I have 31 seconds, so that can't be too bad. And I'm actually ahead of my best time right now, which is interesting. That last lap was really good, though. I think I handled that pretty well. So yeah, let's go ahead and do the third bonus game. So back to the big rig. Track is obviously a lot bigger than a lot of the tracks we've seen here. Hard to really know what the best route is, because honestly it seems like if you go the inside route on this one, you're not really losing a lot of time. And again, you might be more pressured for extra lives here. And it also seems like a lot of the gates are pretty not straightforward on this one. Oh, I got an extra car. How about that? Extra car in 11 seconds. Not too shabby, guys. Not too shabby. Okay, so we're on the final leg of this cup here. We're going to be taking on the Sky Ramp next. Sky Ramp, I don't think is really that bad, from what I remember. Well, okay. It's not exactly the way I remember it, but yeah, it's, I don't remember it being too bad. This is another track where you can see the R-Wing, and I think it's like, you'll see it a lot more here, I think, than you will in Night Cruise. In fact, I think that you actually see them flying around like a couple of times. So yeah, keep your eyes open for those. Yeah, I don't know. I like that compared to the last track anyway. I just don't think this one is as bad as Big Ravine. The turns aren't as tight. I'm still obviously having issues with getting stuck with a wall, but so yeah, they were the R-Wings. Maybe this is like maybe this game takes place in like Corneria or something. Maybe we're entering Corneria City now. Hey Slim, when are you going to do your first Star Fox game on the channel? Good question. Oh, yep, R-Wing right there. Hey, that is interesting that, like, you know, I've done a lot of Nintendo stuff on my channel, but I have not done a single Star Fox game yet. I think what's holding me back from Star Fox, and this is normally what I tell people whenever they ask about it, is I want to do Star Fox, the Super Nintendo version first, but, like, I'm literally terrible at that game. And, like, I've never even, like, fully beaten, like, anything aside from, like, the easy path. And, like, I'd obviously want to show, like, all the endings and, like, all the different routes and stuff. Thankfully, like, it may not be too bad to do, and, you know, now that the game is on, and I mean, I guess you could technically do it on the SNES Classic as well. But you can use, like, save states from, like, more, like, hard-coded saves. And that would probably help me through the game a lot better. Even if I didn't use them on the Let's Play, like, just, you know, getting practice and getting better at the game, that might help a bit. See, like, I was doing really good on this track, and then right there, that one turn messed me up completely. And in general, I need to be a little careful because I'm not exactly doing great on damage right now. I'd like to get first, though, after not getting a single first in this cup yet. And you know what? Like, I swear, like, I think the R-Wing hitting me right there actually affected my movement a little bit. Which I feel like that shouldn't happen, but it kind of seemed like it did. Hell yeah, first place. Which is good, considering the fact that I, haven't gotten a frickin' first on this class yet. And now we have one more course to go, and I'm actually pretty far ahead of my best time, too, which is kind of interesting. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the final course of the class. We have Harbor City. And I mentioned this track being kind of difficult, and kind of difficult it is. It's a fairly long track, first of all. I don't think it's as long as Big Ravine, but it's up there. And not only that, each lap will have 3 of those yellow ramp sections that I've been basically trying to warn you guys about through the entire Let's Play project. Because, yeah, like I said before, these yellow ramps, they are the devil. They will magnetize your vehicle up to them. If you fall off of them, you'll lose a life and have to start the race over. And yeah, there's 3 sections of these in this one course. And what's worse is this one right here, like, there's a part of the track missing, too, so It's like, hell, if these sections weren't bad enough, let's just, you know, stick some empty space on them and, you know, go wild. But once you make it through this, like, and once you get a feel for it, like, this is the last track of the game, so we are almost done, which is a good feeling. Pretty solid feeling. Solid A+ feeling. It is interesting, though, that time isn't really so much of a factor in the Master class as it is in the Expert class, though. Because, like, we have 84 seconds, and I mean, this is a long track, so they give you a lot of time for each checkpoint. But still, like, keep in mind, like, we were, like, hitting, like, 20 seconds and below quite often in the Expert class. It's just interesting to see the... Interesting to see, like, how less strict the time is here. But the tracks themselves are harder. I imagine it's harder to beat the CPUs, so... I guess that's where the true challenge comes into play. Okay, there we go. That's 2 laps done. We are on the final lap. Well, if I'm facing the right way anyway. But yeah, final lap, so just have to be careful in these next 3 ramp sections and we'll be good. And I'm pretty far ahead of 4th place, so I don't have to worry about, like, getting ranked out or anything. It's also getting daylight, so it's kind of a cool effect of this track as well. You kind of race through the night, which is kind of neat. Okay, there we go. This is the last one of these sections we have to do. Trying to be careful. We did it. Nothing's gonna stop us now, baby. Except a crash, but hopefully I will not crash. We did it. So I got 3rd place in the first 2 races, but that's okay. Again, rank doesn't matter unless you're, like, in last place. And wow, I beat my record by 30 seconds, which is pretty interesting. Or about 30 seconds anyway. More like 27, but still. So yeah, there we go. That's it. And after this, we're going to get the credits, I believe. Yep, these look like credits. So yeah, I guess I'll kind of start wrapping up my thoughts on this game. Obviously, we're not done. There are a couple of extra videos I want to make, but Stunt Race FX, average at best racing game. Will admit, I'd rather play Mario Kart, Diddy Kong Racing, Need for Speed, literally any kind of racing game more than this one. But you know, there's definitely a charm about this game that I definitely have, and I have a lot of nostalgia for it too. Just because, again, this was a game I rented all the time as a kid, so, you know, clearly there was something about this game that made me interested enough to rent it that many times. Even if it is, like, not super great. But, you know, it is an interesting part of Nintendo's history because, you know, it is a Nintendo game. It's a very obscure and overlooked Nintendo game, but you know, there are those games sometimes that you remember but no one else might. Like, I think everyone has a game like that, and you know, this is one of those games for me. Like, you know, I've played a lot of obscure games on my channel before, and a lot of those games were games like this, where I rented them from video stores, and, you know, I rented them because they looked interesting, and I thought about giving them a shot. You know, there's this game, Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse, Spanky's Quest, Mischief Makers for Nintendo 64, Iggy's Wrecking Balls. You know, a lot of those games that just seem kind of very weird and, you know, not core Nintendo titles by any means. But, you know, they are games that I had played and had grown up with, and this was one of those games. I didn't own this game officially until, like, in the last few years when I found this game at a game exchange, and I was like, oh yeah, this game. I played this game all the time. And it was very cheap, so I got it, and I'm glad I did. Like, I'm glad I have this game in my collection, and, you know, I think it's great that Nintendo's actually, like, you know, advertising it now. Like, this game is on the Switch Online service. So it's kind of cool that you can play this now. It's very interesting. I had fun with it. I hope you guys had fun watching this, because, you know, it's not a great game by any means, but it's definitely a game that I think is worth talking about. Maybe not a game I'd play religiously or anything, but, you know, it's out there. It's out there, and I have to give it credit for being out there, I guess. So yeah, that's going to do it for my closing thoughts here. You know, if you have the Switch Online service, I definitely recommend you check it out. See if you can do better than I can, because I obviously suck at the game. But, you know, give it a shot. It has multiplayer, so you can try out those battle tracks with other people as well, which I think is kind of cool. Yeah, that's really about it. So, thank you for watching this video, guys. Like I said, this project is not over. We still have a few videos I want to make. I'm not sure how many videos I'm going to make. Obviously, I'm going to have tomorrow's video, which will be focusing on the Stunt Trax mode. I want to see if I can get someone, and there is a specific person I have in mind for this. But I want to check out the Battle Tracks feature as well, so I'll probably do that. Don't really have much to do with free tracks, because free tracks is, again, just playing tracks normally, like almost in like a time trial format. So there's not really much of a reason to show this off, but you know, if there's anything I feel like talking about or showing off, I can probably use that time to show that. So that's basically that. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for Stunt Trax. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Later, folks.